Hey, this is Notser, and today's video, we're in the Tier 7 Premium Italian cruiser, Abruzzi. We're on the map Two Brothers, and this is an IFHE build. It is on the screen. The reason I'm using IFHE, it's a light cruiser. Now, not everyone is familiar with the Abruzzi. This was a light cruiser that was added to the premium shop, I think like 6 months ago, 9 months ago. It was really crappy on its first initial testing, and then they added the heel, which has a lot of value at tier 7, I must say. But it takes a lot of damage. It's very Soviet cruiser-esque in that regard. It has very low armor. It has it lacks the ability to really feel as comfortable as maybe a more tanky, German cruiser or even an American heavy cruiser. So what you have to consider is that you are a Soviet cruiser that doesn't really have the range of a Soviet cruiser. It doesn't have the fire chance. What are the advantages of this Italian? Well, it has a torpedo system that is usable in stealth. The heel, of course. It has hydroacoustic. It also has the ability to equip a scout aircraft. Now, in that scout aircraft slot, you can also choose to use defensive AA. You can't use defensive AA with the hydroacoustic consumable slot, but you can swap the scout. In my particular build, my goal was stay near my maximum range. If I need to, I can use scout aircraft to extend the firing range, finish off a target, or, maybe even more safe engagement. And while I'm doing that, hopefully the chip damage isn't too, crazy, that I can make use of my heel on cooldown. That's the idea. The fire chance is pretty crappy, especially now that I have IFHE, but it's good enough. And the one fire is honestly the best case for this because people will not really care to put it out. And that's where you can rack up some damage. Now, you might say, well, why would I choose the Abruzzi over a Soviet cruiser if it has better gun velocity, better range, and it's well established? This has a more unique consumable loadout. It has a heel at tier 7, and it has the ability to equip torpedo systems that can target enemy ships outside of its concealment. So it could conceivably stealth fire. Not that you ever really do that, but it's there on the table, and you have to be aware of that. So it's a pretty fun experience, honestly, and this game, in particular, was just great. I was able to really work the enemy from a safe distance, and every time I needed to use my heel, it would end up being available, and every time the enemy would try and engage me, I would have the benefit of range. So it works very well. So, this enemy, North Carolina, engaging me. Someone was asking on stream, what are the circles on my minimap? I turn them on, the settings in the cog. But we're just engaging this North Carolina, who has his guns faced south. I believe he's trying to engage the friendly Loyang and the friendly Nelson or Belfast. The fire that was set on him is no longer there, and it was not my fire, because I've only set 2 fires, and I saw the 2 targets I set fire to. But we're behind the island. He can't see us. This is free damage. You always want to farm free damage. And when I'm deciding, especially for the Abruzzi, do I fire HE or AP? I'm going to lean more towards HE. The AP has great gun velocity, but it's a light cruiser. It can really only use AP in very specific situations, and this is just not it. But we got fire on the target, and he's taking damage, which is good. There's an enemy Cleveland that appears to try and camp the island, so I sent torps. As you can see, they have great range, but there's just not a lot of them. And am I going to get the kill? No. The Belfast burns down the enemy North Carolina. That's fine. Still have a target in range, and there is an enemy DD somewhere out there. I don't have radar. It's a tier 7. But I don't think the Italians will ever have radar. I think the Italians are going to be sort of like the Germans, where they've got hydroacoustic, maybe a dedicated slot for hydroacoustic, and then on top of that, you can choose between maybe a scout and defensive AA. That would make them unique enough from the Germans that you would want to play it, but similar enough that it makes sense that something would exist like this. I don't know, maybe I'm spitballing, but I kind of like the layout of the Germans, the Italian, where you have Hydro, your scout aircraft, and the heel. I definitely feel like I miss the scout aircraft on my Japanese cruisers, which you don't get access to until, I think, tier 9 or 10, something like that. So it's a nice little feature to have a scout aircraft. I feel like, if I think about it, I think every single Italian ship has a scout aircraft. Both of the battleships and both of the cruisers. So you really need to incorporate how to aim if you were going to do that. And the best way I can show you is use the crosshair, obviously, and then the crosshair indicator on the minimap, combine them together to verify the direction that the enemy is sailing. And I sort of, depending on where I'm aiming, I will put the crosshair either on the superstructure or in front of the target or in, at an angle, but it ends up working out pretty well. And look at how nifty this thing maneuvers, by the way. This was a very tight circle, and I was concerned that maybe I can't make it. And we definitely can't, but that enemy DD is out here. And we see not one, we see 2 sets of torpedoes. I'm just really concerned. I'm trying to keep my Nelson guy alive. This isn't a win at all. The West is sort of in a disadvantage, and we need to find this DD, and I don't really know where he is. Obviously, I'm not spotted. The Cleveland is north of the island. My friendly Loyang, for whatever reason, decided to just sail directly towards the enemy and leave myself and the friendly Nelson to fend for ourselves against the enemy DD. The Abruzzi is really good at maneuvering around this stuff, though. So I feel pretty confident, plus I have 3 heel charges, that I can do it. And as I sail north, I'm automatically spotted as if there's an enemy DD that's attempting to sail to the east side of my ship, south, to get behind the island and maybe ambush the Nelson without the escort cruiser. So I use my Hydro in an effort to protect that. But I'm aware that this Cleveland, he's absolutely there. But note, I'm not spotted anymore. I think the enemy DD either sailed away from me. Yeah, I think what he's done is he sailed so far away that he's outside of the detection. Cleveland obviously didn't send the torpedoes. Angle so I don't take any of these. And I switched to AP. This is a very AP. This is very easy AP. Broadside on a Cleveland. Low armor. We get a little bit of just a sneaky shot right on the tip of his stern. And it does almost 5,000 damage. He uses his aircraft as a countermeasure. And I'm trying to deny the countermeasure by getting as close as possible. And wow, he's got that catapult fighter direction. We have 2 aircraft up. Huge investment. Very interesting play. It's also a scout aircraft. It's a Cleveland that doesn't have radar. It's a very interesting decision. But as we round this corner, enemy DD tried to provide smoke for him, and the Cleveland looks like he's retreating to it. 1 aircraft is taken out. I would love the other one to be taken out so the Cleveland couldn't spot. And I'm just going to play this as slow as possible until we can take out the aircraft, because that's really the bonus. But in playing it as slow as possible, hydroacoustic is now done. So my counter move to that is to call the aircraft up. And of course, as we do that, the Cleveland takes it out. But I hear HE on the butt works very well. I hear it works very, very well. And we finish off the Cleveland. Continuously sailing this way. Friendlies have appeared to gain control of the west. Plus we have the center controlled. And the best part is everyone's pushing on all fronts. And that's the most power you'll ever have. And as I fire, clearly he's right here. And oh my god, he's right in front of me. I'm just going to try and mitigate as much as I can. Oh, only one. Only one, and oh, he is just the sickest DD, and didn't even need to switch to high explosive, just fire the AP into him. Take out the target. very maneuverable, right? The Italians, they feel like probably the most agile cruisers that they could put in the game. Now, there's huge downsides to that. Namely, fire chance, the shells are pretty mediocre. That's sort of the Italian thing. The torpedo systems are, basically useless. Having 2 torpedoes in a single launcher on a single side, very limiting in your ability to set up an enemy. But it's got a unique experience, and I don't want to throw it out. I mean, we got the heal, and we definitely have enough charged up for a second full heal. That would leave us on 1 heal left, but this Nelson, he's out in the open, firing a little bit of AP, switch to HE. Think he's going to burn down. He does burn down to the friendly, but we lose a friendly in the process. We lose the friendly Lo Yang. So there's no more DDs. I'm basically the only DD. I have the best concealment of anything left, and my goal is real simple. Try and knock him out before multiple enemies can fire on my position at a single moment. The enemy Fiji and the Boise, they're trying to fire on me, plus the Nelson. Just get the Boise out of the game. Get it out of the game! Leave me alone. All I want to do is take out your friendly. That looks to be a good shot. Definitely takes the Boise out. Didn't cause a fire. Used my heal. The Fiji's trying. But we're alive. It's 2 versus 4. I have everything I need here. I've got the range. I have hydroacoustic. I also have a heal that'll be up in about a minute's time. And we've done pretty good damage. And yes, the Nelson continuously firing on us. But we also have great rudder. And very thin, maneuverable ship. It should be no problemo to avoid these shots if he fires on me. Now, I drop off detection because neither target is within my gun range. It defaults and blooms back to its normal size. But the 3 friendlies, the Cleveland, the Nelson, and myself, we should be able to take out this enemy Nelson without losing a single ship. So focus fire is called. Get in range, all 4 gun salvos ready to go. And we're going to fire this high explosive. And we're going to fire it on cooldown. Keep up the fire. Take advantage of these guys and wipe them out. Now the Nelson, he will be able to super heal. So we need to expect about 10 to 20,000 extra health than what we're actually seeing on the target. But look at these salvos. This high explosive salvo doing 4,000 and 5,000 damage on this guy. Just a great amount of damage. And it looks like he might be turning to angle against the friendly Nelson. I've got the benefit of this island. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. I have friendlies that are spotting, and I can do my free high damage per minute without taking any damage. Now, if you were to take damage as the Italian, you would feel like everyone hates barbers and pizza and Ferraris. But it's just the nature of the designs. They're just very vulnerable to fire. I don't know if that'll be the cruiser line for the Italians. I don't know if it'll be heavy or light. But the traits that exist there, it's sort of German. Sort of German meets Soviets. Kind of intriguing. Friendlies are able to take out the Nelson, and all that's remaining is the enemy Fiji. And he's not out of the smoke, inside of my gun range. He is either outside of my gun range and or in the smoke. But we're going to move forward, hoping that he'll, leave it. Yes, Solo Warrior, it's on the table. Fiji has this. Now, wouldn't that be an amazing game if he reversed killed all 4 of us single-handedly? I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have an easy time with this. I'm hoping that he'll come forward and just, take damage and die. Well, we used up all our heal charges. The scout aircraft cooldown, it's a little long. It's really hard to use all those up in a game, honestly. Same with hydroacoustic. But the heal, it's great. The heal allowed me to actually play the game. If I didn't have the heal, I would already be dead, and maybe my team has a much tougher time. As it stands, you know, the Italians have a good chance to recover. And I think that's cool. I think that would be a nice trait to bring in. That isn't, you know, you have absolutely no armor and you get Citadel immediately like the British cruisers. They are the most vulnerable to targets not like me, but this is very easy. Fiji, I'm hoping to get the last shot. It looks like he's turning his guns on me. That's okay. We're going to angle in response. Very nimble. Very, very nimble ship. I was laughing with my friendly Nelson because I was like, are you going to steal it? He tried. Discount Finning tried. And his AP just overpen and did no damage. But we did a great job. The ship did a fantastic job. The ship really carried me. 4 kills, Confederate, Dreadnought, 113,000 damage done, 2,017 base XP, the friendly Belfast, friendly Nelson, they're good players. But hopefully you enjoyed seeing the Abruzzi. It really was given a chance to shine, and I hope it was nice to see. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.